Good morning, girls and boys. My name is Karen. On Wednesday this week, we are starting a new church season called Lent. Lent lasts for 40 days, and then we have Easter. Our Bible story today is taken from the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verses 1 through 15. And it's the same story that will be read in church this week on Wednesday, which is also called Ash Wednesday, to mark the beginning of Lent. In our story today, Jesus taught his disciples about the right way to live. He also taught them how to pray, and he gave them and us a model for prayer called the Lord's Prayer. 2 weeks ago, we learned how Jesus started choosing his disciples, the people who would follow him. After he had chosen 12 disciples, Jesus wanted to teach them how to do his work. They climbed up the mountainside, and many other people followed the disciples to hear also. Jesus taught them about the attitudes that they should have. He taught them that they should have pure hearts and keep wrong things from poisoning their hearts. He taught them how to treat one another. Jesus had seen people who showed off as they gave money and other help to those who were poor and needy. These show-offs wanted other people to see how generous they were, so they did it out in public. But Jesus said that they had already received their reward by showing off, so there would not be any reward for them with God, their heavenly Father. Jesus meant that these acts of kindness should be done in secret, without telling others what they were doing. God is pleased with this kind of giving. Next, Jesus began to teach the disciples and others in the crowd about prayer. He had seen people who stood on street corners and prayed, sometimes out loud, so that people passing them could see that they were praying and praise them for their goodness. But when you pray, Jesus said, go into your room and close the door, and then pray. Don't make a big deal to others about your praying. Just pray quietly to God. God knows what you need. Just talk with God and without making a show out of it. Then Jesus taught his disciples a prayer called the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Jesus taught his disciples how to pray by teaching them the Lord's Prayer. Through praying the Lord's Prayer, we who follow Jesus are being shaped as his disciples. The practice of praying the Lord's Prayer forms our character, and making us the kind of persons who can live faithfully with God. It's a good practice for us to say the Lord's Prayer regularly and frequently, as often as we can.